a few do's and don'ts. I never know how to write this, so I wrote it in all the ways I know. This is based on my learnings and the tests I've been through. So make sure that you take the basic principles and then test it on your own. Chatbot platforms, the biggest advantage I see in them is that they should be easy to roll out to a large amount of people, targeted and data-driven, and then you will be able to iterate quicker than any other product. As I said before, don't create billboards. Zaful, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, almost every button opens a web view, and that might work for their users. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, we shouldn't create a chatbot that does that. We should also try to provide some native experience and use the web views as a support. And that's what the Facebook guidelines say as well, and Viber guidelines, that web views should be a support, and I think Twitter as well. Keep it simple all throughout the bot, so not just in the beginning, because nobody likes a monologue, right? If you look at the one on the left, if you need to read that much text to do anything, then you need to redefine the scope of your chatbot, right? And obviously people are just gonna write a few words or a word, right? But then make sure that you mix long and short messages. Don't just show super long messages all the time, otherwise it gets boring really quickly. Don't explain basics. Buttons were invented way before chatbots. So instead of saying select this, say select size, because that's what actually you're going to select, right? And we're building these for the future. 4-year-olds use tablets now, and children generally are super used to technology, to voice commands. And the moment they reach adulthood, they will be expecting something totally different. So we have to think in advance. Explain the input format. This is important as well. So in this case, I was trying to order some flowers, right? And you see on the screen on the right, it just becomes a guessing game because I don't know how I'm supposed to write my phone number. So I kept writing it in everywhere I knew. I just needed an example, and that would have been enough. I talked about this a lot before. Use data. Keep it contextual. I think it's really interesting. There are some chatbots in Facebook that try to mix it up a bit. So for example, you have an audio message on the left because I can listen to the word of the day, which was a nice experience. And on the right, I really like how they used emojis to select the food type. It's not amazing, but it's a micro interaction almost that is delightful enough to make me remember that bot, right? And mixing all these texts with a few images and a few other interactions could be really useful. Keep it natural. So when you do that research and figure out that people are used to using an app, look, why are they using an app? What do they like in the app? And it doesn't mean that you have to bring everything in. But for example, comparison works best in a top to bottom list where you see the prices on the right or on the left, right? What we used to do is to put everything that you can buy in carousels, but we found out during research that people have a hard time comparing them because they have to slide through each one. So Facebook has this component, and Viber as well, with a list, if I'm not wrong, and then you can just use it. And this was again the input format, and this was a short wireframe I did. You just need to write how many things you need from people. You need to let them know in advance because you don't have any other visual way of communicating that, right? And how they need to write stuff down. Otherwise it gets annoying. The moment you type in something and it doesn't work, you get frustrated, right? And don't be too repetitive. I wanted to find an example here, but I couldn't find it anymore. But in this case, for example, you keep getting the same error message, and it would be nice if they mixed their response based on the same action. So the action is still that they don't understand the input, but they could have a mix of different responses to keep it more fluid. Recover from errors, just as important as everything else. Make sure that people know what to do next, right? So example on the left, I'm given options on what to do next, which is good, maybe a bit long. Example in the middle, they actually use a real agent to talk to me. And an example on the right, it tells me what to do and what happened, but it tells me to chat with a human friend, but I have no idea how to chat with a human friend. Right? And make it memorable. I think this is the last one. It's really important to create an emotional bond with the chatbot. So if you want to make it as human-like, then we have to make it memorable. So the one on the left is a bot from Viber with Golden State Warriors. And I think they really customized it, and it really shows. And it really shows the value it brings, right? And the emojis on the right that I was talking about.